So the other day I went into Five Below, and I went into the arts and crafts section because that's where I belong. And I came across these two packs of markers right here, and I immediately had my interest piqued because one said acrylic paint markers and the other one said outline markers, and I really wanted to try them. So that's what I'm going to do today. The packaging is very bland, nothing to it. It just says 8 count acrylic paint markers, comes with the colors nicely arranged. It has steps on how to use the markers / activate them because they are paint markers, so you're going to have to go through the shaking and pumping process for them. They also both have a drawing challenge on the back, which is to use the colors to make a perfect piece or like your favorite piece or whatever. Both come out to $5 each, which total $10, which means they would come out to about 63 cents a piece. Of course, when it came to opening them, I struggled because I always do. But as I was opening them, I saw that they were pretty thin, which I could tell from outside of the package as well. But I didn't think they were that thin of a pen, kind of. So you're not getting too much product in there, which is reasonable because it's only $5. But we don't know how long it'll last, so I'm going to wait for that. The tube itself has steps on how to activate the paint, and I should have read that, but I didn't, so I struggled immensely. The nib is actually pretty nice looking, and it's actually nice and firm from when I'm using it. Here's me violently shaking it to try and get the ink out instead of following the steps. And as I put the color down, I was actually pretty impressed. It was very vibrant. Now, just for reference, I am using my regular sketchbook. It's the Maromans 1 sketchbook. It's not really meant for mixed media. It's more so for markers. However, even when I use like Posca in mixed media sketchbooks, it still ends up ripping up or tearing the paper because it is, at the end of the day, water-based paint, and water and paper do not mix. Maybe on canvas these would probably work better, but for what I would want to use them for, which is accenting drawings or just kind of filling up some space, I feel like it was necessary for me to use it on the sketchbook. Now, the outline pens, right? This is when I realized my brain finally like connected from monkey to human, that I had to air out the marker so this way I don't have to sit there and shake it for 10 minutes, and it made the process so much quicker because I actually read. So that's a lesson to everybody. Please read. So this way you don't sit there and struggle for 10 to 15 minutes trying to shake up some pens. The outline pens were super cool when I first put them down. I really liked that they had the silver and then the color kind of like surrounded it, which I was like, yo, that's like magical. Like how did the pen do it? They did stink though. Like the outline pens. The regular acrylic pens had no smell. The outline pens gave me a run for my money though. That was like, damn, y'all stinky. Like y'all really stinky up in here. And they kind of had like a weird texture, and I'll show you what I mean by that. These are the colors up close in case you were wondering what they actually looked like. And out of curiosity, I was like, how do these outline pens bleed? And I'm lucky that I put down a piece of paper because the outline pens went not only through one sheet of paper but down to a second one, so make sure you put a good amount there. I also ran my finger across to see if the silver would come off, and it kind of didn't. It felt really gross and oily, so I don't suggest that. And not only that, but the silver kind of chips off, and I was kind of disappointed by that because I was like, oh, well, that sucks. Like, I bought them to have the cool silver effect, but it'll come off. So, for the drawing that I wanted to try and test these out with, I ended up doing a clown boy, and the reason why is because these colors are very, like, how do I put flat? There you go. These paint colors are pretty flat, and I was like, I think the best way to, like, showcase them off is by doing a character that would wear flat colors, and usually whenever I think of that, I think of clowns because they wear just, like, blobs of paint on them, or like colors that aren't really well depthed in or shaded. So that's what my brain connected that to. I did, however, use markers with this piece as well because there's not enough colors in this set for me to make an entire drawing. So if anything, I would use them more as an accent to an art piece and not an entire one, which you can still do that, but it'll be harder to work around the colors that you have. Now, when I was using the acrylic paint markers, we'll start off with those, I guess. I use them in not only small areas, but in big areas to see how they would lay down. For the most part, they actually went down pretty nice, and the colors are actually really vibrant, and I like that. They cover pretty well too, I think. There were some times though when it was a really big area, like when I do the collar in a bit, I had to go over it twice with the paint marker because it was such a big area. And I really do suggest that if you do larger areas with these markers, you do like single strokes back and forth or up and down, so this way it covers the area much better. When it came to smaller areas like the little dots on the hat, it was no problem / issue. It actually worked really well. If anything, if you need to go back over the area, let it dry down for like a good minute or two, because they do dry down really quickly, and then afterwards just go over it again to kind of smooth out any like streaks or lines that you get. The quality in the paint in these markers is actually really nice. They're not top tier, of course, because they are only $5, but they are really good, and I actually enjoyed using them. I wasn't like, ew, this is watery or nasty looking or anything like that. I actually enjoyed using them, and I thought the color saturation was nice, so it was really nice and vibrant, and it didn't look muddy in any of the areas that I was using it in. I probably could have used it on top of marker as well, but I didn't try that because I didn't think of that at the time. I only thought of it right now. I did try and use it in as many areas as I could throughout the piece, so this way I gave like almost every marker a chance, and this way we could see how well they work in large and small areas. Overall, I really do like the acrylic markers. The only thing that is the downside, of course, is that there's not enough colors. If there were more colors, that would be like really awesome, but then it would probably be more expensive because there are more of them. So I guess it's a whole we gotta work with what we got thing. It's great that it's $5, but it sucks that there's only 8 of them. But I think we can work around that. So like I did here, I used markers to kind of compensate for areas that didn't have those colors / would be like a hassle to use in those areas. So that's what I ended up doing, and I think that they work really well together too. They don't look like they don't belong. Like some areas look like they're just marker too. It's kind of cool. I like that actually. The outline pens, however, I don't like them. The outline pens gave me a very difficult time when I tried to outline the piece, you know, because they're called outline pens. So I was like, let's outline the piece. But the marker didn't want to work with me. In fact, it hated me, and I was like, you know what, I kind of hate you too. And it splattered everywhere. And I'm talking about everywhere when I tried to shake it and get some ink back out, which was probably my fault. I should have capped it first, then shook it. But at that point, I was like, it looks like we just don't like each other. And I was like, that's cool. I don't like you either. So yeah, and then not only that, but the outline pens had more of an issue of leaking ink, and I was like, I kind of don't like that, because now it got into areas of the drawing, and eventually I was like, what if I just try and scrape it off, and it was like not coming off, and I was like, okay, forget it, let's just outline the outside with a marker and see how that goes. And then I outlined over that with the black acrylic marker, I believe, to kind of help bring the drawing back out a little bit. So yeah, that was my experience with the outline markers, which I don't like. But the acrylic paint markers I really do like, and I believe they totally are worth the money. So if anything, I would highly suggest the acrylic paint markers and skip out on the outline ones. They were kind of butt. So yeah, thanks for watching, and remember, I love you. Bye.